Welcome. In front of me is a brand new Nokia G21, and today I'll go through unboxing along with a quick overview of the phone. So anyway, let's just pop it straight open. There we go. So in here we got a cheaply packaged phone. Got some paperwork. We got a charger, which I guess that's a success. And there we go, a cable, and it looks like that's all we get in the box with the device. So anyway, just gonna heat the box to the side and power on the device. So once you actually see the screen, there we go. You're looking at a 6.5-inch display with a resolution of 720 by 1600. So in terms of resolution, it's not blowing me out of the water right here, but I will point out that this device is catering more towards like a budget range. It is, I guess the prices that I can see here kind of range a little bit, starting from like 170 euros or $300. That's a huge difference. So, you know what, I'm just gonna kind of meet in the middle and say about 220, something like that. If it's anywhere in that price range, I think it should be just good enough for the device. It's still at a price where you can consider this as a budget device, and though obviously there will be cheaper phones, but they will also be most likely worse. When you're looking at like budget devices, the cheaper it is, the like significantly worse it will be. So I would recommend, if you're planning to buy any kind of budget device, to go a little bit higher, just because you might get a little bit of better mileage out of that device. Anyway, going back to this one, like I said, it's a 720p display. This is an IPS LCD display with an actual 90 Hz refresh rate, which is surprising to me for a price at this for a device at this price range. It has a typical brightness of 400 nits, so nothing outstanding. Should be good enough for just typical use. You might struggle obviously to see the display during like direct sunlight outside, as an example. So keep that in mind. In direct sunlight it might not be visible at all. Now in terms of screen to body ratio, we are looking at 81.6% screen, well, the ratio, and also 270 pixels per inch from the resolution. So the specs right here, at least for the display itself, do scream relative budget device, outside of that like 90 Hz refresh rate, which caught me off guard, to be honest. Now moving on to the cameras at the back, if I finish up the setup, just quickly skipping through this. So you can see we have a triple camera setup. That is usually not the case though, so, and here it's also not the case. You may see 3 cameras, but in reality you get 1, which is the very top one. So we have a 50 megapixel wide sensor, which is the only one that you should be using, and then we got a 2 megapixel macro and 2 megapixel depth. Now quickly going into those cameras, macro obviously just allows you to get really close-up shots, but when you have a main sensor at 50 megapixels, you can just do a for instance 2x zoom and capture a way high resolution along with way more detailed photo from that 50 megapixel than that trash 2 megapixel macro, making it completely obsolete. And then the depth sensor usually just f's up photos. It's being used primarily in things like portrait modes, so it will completely screw up the hair where it tries to fake the bokeh effect, and it just fails at it miserably and creates that like almost halo effect around the person, where just you have everything in focus, and then outside of that focus everything is instantly blurred without any kind of like, you know, actual bokeh effect. So those 2 sensors don't really exist and shouldn't be used in any reason. They're what you would call a sticker camera. Now at the front, we have an 8 megapixel sensor. Now with all of those cameras at the front and back, your max resolution of a video will be capped at 1080p 30 frames, which is a little bit of a shame here. So there we go, those are the cameras. We also have a fingerprint sensor on the power button, as you can see right over here. We have a headphone jack at the top, which again, at this time, I think we can consider that as a feature nowadays. Plastic build. So yeah, now the actual back does have like this weird texture to it. So yeah, hopefully this is not looking on the camera like a blackish or grayish color. This is actually green, and hopefully it is picking it up on camera correctly, but on my screen it just looks weird. So yeah, there we go. Now moving on to actual internals of the device, we are looking at a, where is the processor? Let me quickly find it. Where is it? Now it is using, what is it? The core. I'm not even sure what that is. Some Unisec T606. I genuinely have no idea how good this processor is, so I won't be saying anything about it. That's basically what we get. Now we do have several versions in terms of like storage and RAM of the device. So we can, at the lowest spec version of this, we can get a 64 gig storage with 3 gigs of RAM. Now I wouldn't recommend going for that just because of the RAM. 3 gigs of RAM is not enough in current time. Go at least for the obviously 4 gigs, which would be the next version. 64 gigs of storage again, but you get 4 gigs instead of the puny 3. And if you need more storage in terms of like just pure storage, you can expand it using an SD card. You also have 2 spaces for 2 different SIM cards. So there we go. Obviously, you can go even higher if you want to. We have 128 gigs storage with 4 gigs of RAM and 128 gig storage with 6 gigs of RAM. So the 6 one would be the maxed spec, while the 64.3 is the lowest one, which I don't recommend going for. And last things last will be the battery. We are looking at 5050 mAh battery, and the charger that we have in the box is just a kind of pathetic 10-watt charger. So this will be charging your phone for ages. Now the phone actually supports 18-watt charging, so if you have, I don't know, maybe older device with a better charger, you will have a way better time charging this device with the other phone's charger rather than this one. This is like barely gonna be charging it. 10 watts is nothing like good, so I recommend either, I don't know, if you have one, using the other charger that is faster. Even like Samsung chargers will be faster, ironically, or just buying a new one. This will basically be a charger that you plug in for the night and just charge it throughout the entire night. That's probably going to be the simplest way. But anyway, finishing this off, the device as a budget phone, I would say it's fairly okay. I don't have any kind of problems. It has what I would expect. It has fingerprint sensor, obviously. It has a couple things that I wouldn't even expect, like headphone jack as an example, and a 90 Hz refresh rate. The display obviously isn't anything great. We have a charger, which at one point it's nice that we have one, if you might not have had one already. But if you have one already, it's kind of useless, and this one is bad. So it's kind of like mixed bag for the charging here. And other than that, the phone is just a budget device with, just from like initial feel of it, it seems to be running quite okay. Can't really complain about it. Hopefully when you load it up with apps, it will still keep up the speed that is showing just on the home screen. So yeah, nothing really bad to say about the device, nothing really good to say about it either, or not much. It's just a typical budget device. So there we go. Anyway, if you found this video informative in any way, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.